Hello YouTubers. I'd like to talk a little bit today about HHO fuel vehicles. First, a little bit of background on why I'm talking about it today. I have this real-life friend that likes to engage me in a lot of the same discussions that I tend to be involved with here on YouTube. Primarily religious debates. He takes the theist position. Mostly he takes a deist kind of theist position, but he also, believes in belief. He believes that religion is a good thing on the balance, even though he doesn't subscribe to any particular religion. But that is neither here nor there, because recently we've been involved in a discussion about the possibility of HHO fuel vehicles. And he wants to argue that not only is it possible to create such a vehicle that uses a little electrolysis device to take water, break it down in the vehicle, and then burn the resulting hydrogen and oxygen to improve the performance of the vehicle. He thinks this is going to dramatically improve the fuel efficiency of vehicles. I think this is absolutely, entirely false. It is impossible to make such a device. And the reason is actually very obvious and very simple. The reason is that conservation of energy requires that you cannot create or destroy energy in such a manner. Therefore, the energy used all comes from whatever your outside energy input is. In this particular case, it is the outside energy input of gasoline. The gasoline is the energy input that powers the vehicle. If you add in extra steps, you can technically make it function. But every step that you add that requires energy conversion can, at best, produce the same amount of energy out that it produced in. Unfortunately, every single one of these steps is inefficient to one degree or another. In a vehicle, this inefficiency begins right away. The first thing that we're going to do with our primary energy input is burn it. So our gasoline has a bunch of energy in it, and we are going to chemically combine it with oxygen, a process we call burning, to produce heat. The heat causes expansion. The expansion pushes on the pistons. The pistons then spin the crankshaft, spin up the flywheel. Now we have mechanical energy in the engine that resulted from the original chemical energy in the gasoline. This step is highly inefficient. This is one of the more inefficient steps in the entire process. A huge percentage of the chemical energy in the gasoline is wasted at this step as heat. It is wasted because the translation of this heat into mechanical energy is horribly inefficient. We then are forced to figure out ways to get rid of this heat. Radiators, pumping it back out the tailpipe, any way that we can. So there's the first inefficiency. Second, we now need to bleed off some of this energy into electricity. We've got it as mechanical energy. We use some of this mechanical energy to spin an alternator. The alternator produces electricity. Again, process inefficient. Energy wasted as heat. Alternators produce heat, primarily from friction. They are not 100% efficient. They are way more efficient than the internal combustion step, but they are still not 100% efficient. So we've wasted some more energy converting it into electricity. Now we either need to use this electricity right away, or we need to figure out a way to store it. In general, all of it ends up being stored. Even if some of it is being used right away, it ends up going through the storage process. The storage process is generally a battery. Batteries, when you charge them, convert electrical energy into chemical energy, and the chemical energy sits in the battery, waiting to be converted back into electrical energy. Both of these steps are inefficient. Both the converting it into the battery and the converting it back out again, both waste energy. So we've lost some more. Now we've got electricity. Now we use the electricity to power electrolysis. The electrolysis process is another electrical to chemical conversion process. You are using electrical energy to break the bonds of water so that it is now hydrogen and oxygen. This is a conversion process. We now have energy stored in the free hydrogen and the free oxygen, but mostly in the free hydrogen because, that's kind of a stretch, but it's in both. When you turn around and recombine them so that they're water, you get energy back. Again, though, we only have one way to get this energy back, and that's via the internal combustion engine. Horribly inefficient process. So we are wasting more energy, again, as we try to convert it back. So each of these steps along the way has lost energy. There is no advantage to be gained by expending energy, converting this energy back and forth, especially when you know your end process is so horribly inefficient as internal combustion. Internal combustion is very inefficient. So, to wrap it all up, it is not possible to make such a vehicle actually improve performance. Now, this is not to say that it is impossible to use hydrogen in an internal combustion engine as a means of not using gasoline or improving the amount of the efficiency of gasoline in an engine. If you make the hydrogen off-site and bring it into the vehicle as a fuel source, then the vehicle itself could be more efficient. It's got other advantages too. Using hydrogen and oxygen as your chemical energy source has the advantage that the resultant product is water, and there is nothing safer than to make water. So, as far as being green goes, a vehicle entirely powered by hydrogen and oxygen would be incredibly green. Great idea. Unfortunately, you cannot make use of this by using electrolysis in the vehicle. You can only make use of this by creating the hydrogen with whatever process you're using, by creating the hydrogen outside of the vehicle somehow and bringing it in as an energy input. As long as you intend to break it using the energy from the battery, from the alternator, from the mechanical energy in the engine, from the gasoline, the net result is a loss of efficiency from added energy conversion steps. Period. You cannot do this. It will not work. It cannot be made any clearer. It cannot work.